And good evening, Rando fans. We are back on SpeedGaming with more action in the ALTTPR League Season 3. I'm Cool Papa Bell 2282, and commentating alongside me tonight is Rive. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, Cool Papa. I'm doing very well. It's getting pretty late for me, but I just can't get enough of these randomizers, these mystery randomizers, and I'm loving every second of it. And here today as well, we have Kono Tyran also on the tracker. He's gonna keep us in line so that we can tell you what's what. It looks like Randomizer going. That's what's what.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's going to be a little bit harder to keep track of than usual since we may have bosses shuffled around. We'll see exactly what that Randomizer symbol at the bottom of the screen means there as our runners get started. But yeah, in Mystery Week, sort of anything can happen.
That's what I love. We've had matches that lasted 2+ hours, and then we've had those that last only 40 minutes.
Yeah, anything from Triforce hunts to full-on cross-keys, entrance shuffle madness. Those are all possibilities here. So we will get things kicked off in just a minute.
Now, of course, the fact that we see Randomizer there does not mean anything for what mode we're going to be playing here. It could still be anything.
Yeah, it could still definitely have an effect on some of the weights. Like, for example, if you have a standard Randomizer seed, then I believe we guarantee you a sword to make sure that you can actually get out of the escape sequence. Had some issues with that the last time around.
Oh man, I can only imagine you're trying to get through there. Well, it looks like we have an open start with a book right off the bat in Link's house.
And a sword in Sanctuary, so some progression so far.
And that's already the overworld enemies clearly randomized. A crystal roller just outside of Sanctuary, casually rolling by.
And all of our entrances seem to be in the right place so far, so looks like just the enemies that are shuffled, not the entrances.
And another sword in Uncle Chest.
Is there a setting for the opposite of swordless, where you just have way too many swords?
Whoops, all swords. And the flute is on the lumberjack ledge.
All right, maps are not shuffled because we could see our crystals.
So there's all crystals in the overworld with a red crystal on the Desert Palace.
And yeah, with that flute on lumberjack and master sword in hand already, that's a little bit scary.
I'm loving the Randomizer so far. It's always funny seeing these random bouncing spike blocks out of nowhere.
Plus, you get to kill the thieves, which is my favorite part of Randomizers.
Oh yeah, of course, killable thieves, because otherwise they could show up in the weirdest locations and block your way.
So EmoSaru did not go and scout out the lumberjack location, so she does not know that that flute is there just yet. She does have some bombs prepared for her trip into Kakariko, though, so she'll be able to head right down into the village from here. And Emo representing the Yutang clan. They're sitting at just 6 points in this division. Taorumi's at 15. They're sitting in third place in the... which division is this? The Skull Woods division.
And they're definitely gonna... The Taorumis are definitely gonna do their very best to keep that third place, of course, because third place is what's required in the Invitational to the playoffs. But I don't think Yutang Clan is just gonna roll over. They're gonna go for their max points as well. Looks like we have a small freeze on the EmoSaru side. Oh, and there's a Dark Palace big key. So big keys are shuffled. But maps are not.
Yes, so maps, compasses, small keys, and big keys could all be shuffled independently of each other, or not, depending on what the seed feels like.
Chad is mentioning that menu has keys. I don't know if that refers to small keys, big keys, or both. But if small keys are there as well being tracked, then of course that means that small keys are also randomized.
That Hinox there in place of the green guard is a little unpleasant.
Nice safety blue mail in Kakariko well. So far our two major finds have been the Master Sword very quickly and that book. So I'm gonna be thinking that those tablets are gonna come into play very fast. I'm wondering what those will hold.
Oh, and there's a lamp for EmoSaru. But since we do have shuffled keys, we are going to need a couple more items before we can actually defeat Aga. We need both of those castle tower small keys.
So yeah, we can expect a couple more overall checks here with EmoSaru finishing off Kakariko, while rdwalsh finds the Moon Pearl in Dam.
Yeah, and rdwalsh taking a little bit non-standard route. Did save and quit out of the Lost Woods hideout, which is not uncommon when you have no bombs. You want to make sure you have bombs when you make it to Kakariko, but is delaying his trip back there until after doing the South Shore. And we see Cape on the library.
So I'm expecting that they'll have to make their way back there. I'm hoping for something in Bumper Ledge eventually. And compasses are shuffled.
So full key sanity for sure.
Oh, maps are not shuffled.
Ah, yes, right. Correct.
But that's of course a minor thing. The keys are the most important part, and the fact that compasses are shuffled means there's one chest in every dungeon extra available to find one more item. Oh, the ever important small key to Swamp Palace and a fire rod in Mini Moldorm Cave.
Yeah, very solid Mini Moldorm Cave there. And yeah, that extra item in each dungeon is especially important for the lower count dungeons like Ice and Mire. That, you know, when they get 33 or 50% better than they normally are, that's actually a pretty big jump in what priority our runners are going to place on them.
You're absolutely right. Now we're having a small freeze on the left side, I'm afraid, but we'll get that sorted.
That might just be resyncing the timers there.
And now EmoSaru can also be delighted by what she finds there in Mini Moldorm Cave. Well, not Mini Moldorm, Popo Cave. And you're absolutely right, they were just syncing the runners. Their times are now neatly together. Place a bomb, find a bomb. So of course, at this time, we don't yet know what our actual goal is.
Yeah, interesting that having the book so early means it would be an option to actually go read the pedestal. and I believe it will just say you win if it is a pedestal goal for the seed. The other way, of course, to find out the goal is reading the sign on the pyramid once we make it into the eastern part of the Dark World.
And we saw a nice fake flipper up into the Zora domain there by EmoSaru. And of course, because she has that Moon Pearl, you can fake flipper out of the waterfall cave, and suddenly you're water walking.
And it looks like she's going to use that to go ahead up to Hobo. We see Big Key of Thieves Town in Saha's Closet, another big key on the Hylia Island.
How do you know that was the Oh no, I'm sorry. I thought you said there was the Thieves Town big key on the island. I was like, how did you know it was that one?
And also worth noting that we did find one Castle Tower small key in that waterfall cave, so that will be logically locked by the flippers.
And our first look into Eastern Palace here on Walsh's side. Oh no, there's a Wallmaster.
So the Eastern Palace dip is a lot more common in Key Sanity, because you can't really always bank on waiting until you have a bow and the Eastern Palace big key before doing it, but it feels a little bit bold to be doing this before finishing Kakariko, as rdwalsh is doing.
You're absolutely right. It wasn't that far out of the way, but it's still something you don't see very often, or almost ever. And Randomizer also giving us some odd enemy coloring is always fun to see. And there's the flippers.
Alright, that feels like we're going to be doing Aga real soon at this point, because there's one of our Castle Tower small keys already in Logic.
Yeah, it is now in Logic. But they already have it. Well, rdwalsh already has it.
And with that one Castle Tower key, we can get both items out of Aga Tower, which we'll see if Emo decides to do that while she is in the Hyrule Castle area. Would take a Death Warp from Zelda's cell. Ooh, and deciding to save that key rather than going to Zelda's cell also.
In the meantime, we found a mirror in the Eastern Palace as well.
It's a very loaded Eastern Palace dip, so good choice from rdwalsh to rush that.
And EmoSaru gets mugged.
Yeah, this is somewhat of a long trip to save scum this key. Emo could have taken a Death Warp, but there were not really any enemies around that would make that very easy, so she decided to just save and quit back to Link's house.
And that's a vanilla big key.
Hard vanilla Eastern big key. I love this seed already.
It's definitely not what you'd expect to see. Of course, that is logically behind the lamp, which rdwalsh doesn't have. EmoSaru does. Where'd you pick that up again?
I think just somewhere in Kakariko that rdwalsh has not been to yet.
Quick heart refill.
And of course, I forgot, we're enemized, so that bow is not necessarily required for this dungeon. Whoa! This is a room. And yeah, rdwalsh just gonna nope out of there.
that this is the thing, the best source there. That room was gonna be very deadly with just the fire rod. I need to get that light on real quick. Got a tempered sword in the back of escape there. Yeah, we're just getting swords thrown at us at this point.
So worth noting that one of the reasons why Emo is okay with skipping that Zelda cell check there is because it will not be in logic without the Hyrule Castle small key, without the sewer key, since you could go do exactly what Emo did and use that key on the door to the back and then not be able to get into Zelda's cell anymore. So she knows she's at least not skipping anything that is logically required yet.
rdwalsh going a bit further into the Zora's domain, having enough money to pay Zora off. I always like it when you see one of the players do this early and actually go and see what Zora has. It's always a big play coming here, and I always hope it pays off. Ice Rod, not immediately something you need, but it may be great to have in the long run.
And it definitely might be something that trips Emo up, since she's already been to Waterfall Ferry. She might not be super excited to go back to Zora, although since she will have Mirror here in just a minute, she will be able to loop in the Zora check with Catfish eventually.
I think that's most likely what will happen, what you just said, because they don't need the Ice Rod for a while until they fight Trinex, except if, of course, Trinex, if bosses are randomized and Trinex appears somewhere else.
Which is entirely possible. And I suspect that since Emo is a little bit better equipped, she's got Blue Mail, a few more hearts, and that lamp, that we will probably see her at least take a look at the boss of this dungeon. That's always one of the unpleasant surprises that Enemizer can throw at you, is you just go through the whole game not needing an Ice Rod, and then suddenly there's a Trinex in GT.
And then suddenly your game is an Ice Rod hunt again. And that is technically possible. What chat says, oops, all Trinex in the most extreme version of Enemizer. There is, I don't know if there's a hard cap on how many times a boss can appear, but as far as I know, that should be possible.
Yeah, fully all Trinex is not possible because there are some arenas where he just can't appear. There's just not enough room for him on like the Moldorm 2 platform and things like that, but you can get a lot of Trinexes.
Yeah, he also can't appear in the Moshula arena. But yeah, with this Ice Rod and Fire Rod so early available, this is definitely... Okay, so these... Sorry, I'm gonna interrupt myself. I did not think that these chickens would also get replaced with random enemies.
Yeah, I've seen some really terrible chicken rooms, just like a bunch of red guards running at you as quickly as possible. Some bad things can happen in that hut.
And yeah, there was the lamp in that chicken hut that rdwalsh has now picked up.
So we will see how Emo feels about this room.
No problem whatsoever. Let's go. She just went right in there. No hesitation.
Just have Temper Sword, 5 head. That room that we just saw
Oh.
Emo blaze through is why rdwalsh did not finish Eastern Palace, to answer the question from chat.
rdwalsh, of course, only had 3 hearts and green mail, which is and also only Master Sword. So EmoSaru is I keep saying Sarus. EmoSaru is much better equipped. And yeah, like you said, the bow not required here. And we I love it! Trinix in Eastern Palace! I love it! Now he needs to get his way to Zora to get that ice rod.
Yeah, rdwalsh is definitely going to have a bit of an advantage there for having found that ice rod already. If progression is locked behind Trinix, that actually might work out better for Emo, because she'll get forced to go to Zora before too long.
But they're both not inclined to go do those things. Emo doesn't really want to go to Zora because she's already done the waterfall cave, and rdwalsh doesn't really want to go to Eastern because they've already done most of that as well, and they just have the boss left.
Yeah, that's a really unappealing walk for rdwalsh until he's got a higher probability of there being a boss there that he can beat.
I'm a bit surprised that EmoSaru goes straight for Desert Palace and does not check Agina's cave.
Yeah, a lot of runners will choose to just check Agina on the way out of Desert Palace, particularly in this case when they have no keys. She's pretty much just checking the map chest and then the item on the torch, and then is going to leave unless she feels like stealing the key from the back.
Just bombs, though.
Yes, we do need a glove to get in the back. Thank you to our tracker, Kono Tyron, for keeping me on track there.
That thief there in Desert Palace was giving us some weird colors, almost see-through.
And I gotta say, this seed has given us a lot of Lionels in some very unfortunate places.
Yeah, that to me is one of the craziest things about Randomizer. These enemies still deal their default damage, so if you get a Lionel early, they will straight up kill you.
So yeah, Emo is going to finish off this Agina check. And then does she really have anything left to do besides head back up to Zora? I think she also skipped Ice Rod Cave in favor of that fake flipper trip. Yes, it's true. We have also not seen Castle Tower, so we could see those 2 chests in there, even though it's not completable until we find that second small key.
In the meantime, I think we're gonna see that exactly that from rdwalsh. Wait, or has rdwalsh done the front of escape yet? Actually,
Yes, he did that right away, because he found the first sword in Sanctuary, and then saved and quit before doing Kakariko, and came back down here. Oh, he's just going to go to Dark Cross first.
yeah, I remember now because he went all the way to Zelda. Well, Zelda, because Zelda wasn't there.
Yes, and that is why he's down a sword, since Emo found that tempered in the back of Escape.
So no, EmoSaru did not check Ice Rod. She fake flippered to the waterfall cave, and then walked out with the Moon Pearl to Water Walk, and then used Water Walk to check Hobo, and then save and quit from there.
but is headed back up to Zora, and we'll see if the Ice Rod takes her right back into Eastern Palace to kill that Trinex.
That's still a dangerous fight with such low hearts, but definitely very, very doable.
Yeah, Tempered will be a huge advantage for her in that fight.
And we're gonna see exactly what you were hoping for EmoSaru, the Zora check, despite having already gone there. Not that appealing, but it is the check that she needs to make, and here it is.
Yeah, that's why I feel like it's actually fortunate that there's that Trinex blocking the path, just because she gets forced to come back to Zora right away. If she had found her Dark World access somewhere else, Zora would be the last thing on her mind right now.
Since when can crabs walk on water?
Oh!
That glove as the second item available in Castle Tower.
That is pretty big for rdwalsh. That's going to open up Back of Escape for him without having to find that sewer key. It's also going to give us access to some stuff up Death Mountain.
Which, thanks to the lamp, is of course in logic now completely. Well, the left side anyway. And yes, the Ice Rod find will bring EmoSaru straight back to Eastern Palace to go kill Trinex. So if there's any viewers today that have only completed the vanilla game and are new to watching Randomizer, this is a bit of an extreme version to come into. The glove was in the second chest in Castle Tower.
Which probably means that you have to go into Castle Tower to get the glove, to go up the mountain to get the second Castle Tower key, to go back and defeat Aga. That's what I'm calling right now.
So the game's playing ping pong with the players, got it. So the anti-fairy spawned inside the wall. That's interesting.
Yeah, since those are normally bats in the Old Man Rescue, most of the time your enemies just get trapped in the walls.
Except if they're sparks.
I believe the seed also forced us to do this Eastern double dip, or wanted us to do this Eastern double dip, right? With flippers in Eastern to Ice Rod on Zora, to killing Trinex back in Eastern Palace.
And this time this room just gets ignored. The door is open, doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, this is going to be going to be a tight fight though, magic-wise for Emo.
I hope they find a refill before going in there. Although I want to note that the vulture on Death Mountain seems kind of thematically correct. Just some love on top of Spectacle Rock and some rupees inside. That is a full refill, nice. This Trinex coloring though. And EmoSaru makes very quick work, but so does Trinex of her.
Got through the first two phases, but then that net coming out. Oh my goodness. Yes, there are the mitts on Death Mountain for rdwalsh.
So I said we got super early book and Master Sword. Those tablets are gonna have some good stuff. Because that is our Dark World access. With Butter Sword in the bottom of Hera. So we're 27 minutes in. We found both rods, both boomerangs, all swords, and a couple of utility items, but that's it.
Yeah, fairly loaded as light worlds go, but still going to be looking for a lot of keys probably to finish this game. And we see Emo is taking some time to try and farm up some small magic. Unfortunately, going to need it for that second fight with Trinex.
Yeah, she got through those heads very smoothly, but without to have magic, more magic than what she has is definitely needed. Not that much more, but I think 2 small refills or maybe 3 will do it. But with only that amount, she'll need to hit every shot, or it won't work.
Yeah, she's probably going to have to kill a couple of these Hinoxes in here since they have the magic prize pack.
And there's the full refill. Done and done. Now we're in the Dark World here on rdwalsh's side. We got the big key for Turtle Rock in the chess game.
And I thought to myself for a second there, oh, and we already have both rods to kill Trinex, but this is boss shuffle, so that may or may not actually be a Trinex in there.
Well, let's assume it is, and that Trinexes are everywhere. Of course, rdwalsh doesn't know yet that it's a boss shuffle.
You have to think he'll probably see that soon with the Thieves Town big key.
So, remind me, in boss shuffle in Thieves Town, the boss is just standing there in the back room?
Correct, yeah, he can just head right into the boss room, does not even have to visit the attic in order to beat the boss.
So yeah, you can do Thieves Town very quick. And just like EmoSaru here, making very quick work of Trinex in Eastern Palace, getting the first crystal now at 29.52, 53 and a couple. There you go.
And yeah, with the boss shuffle possibility, a lot of runners will actually just head straight into the boss room, and then decide afterwards whether they actually want to do the back of Thieves Town or not. Now, it's a lot more likely to in this case, since we are almost full key sandy, so there will likely be several items in the back that you'll be leaving behind if you skip out, but you can always check the boss first and then make that decision. It's not too much of a time loss to walk back into these first couple of rooms.
Now, do you think rdwalsh is gonna check the boss room, or is he gonna go straight up? Because he doesn't know that it's boss shuffle yet.
Yeah, I mean, if he's committed to full clearing the dungeon right now, he'll probably head back to the attic. But not having the hammer, I would be very tempted to actually leave the back for now.
Oh, and we have Vanilla Blind in Thieves Town.
But of course, without the benefit of the script, unfortunately.
This is how I usually fight blind. Because I tend to die on my first try. But he still makes easy work of it.
So rdwalsh definitely, to answer chat, knows that it is boss shuffle because blind would not be there if the bosses were not shuffled. You'd have to go bomb the attic and grab the disguised blind out of the cell.
And we'll start picking up that first glove in Castle Tower.
And so yes, rdwalsh opting not to go back into the back of Thieves Town. Once again, key logic is important there. I was about to say, without the small key to Thieves Town, only Blind Cell is in logic, so only one of those items. Now they're all in logic, but we can't reach the big chest without the hammer.
Wait, I thought you only needed the small key for the big chest.
So, realistically, yes, but logically speaking, you could hit the switch, go down to the basement, and open the door to the big chest room with the key that you would normally use to go upstairs. So, as always with key logic, if you used your keys in dumb ways, then you could do bad things.
You.
Yeah, exactly.
And just some love from Digging Game. In the meantime, EmoSaru making her way up the Death Mountain, and will soon get their second glove as well. One of the players
And so
talked
she
to Sarasla, and they found out that the green pendant is in Swamp Palace.
I was going to say, it looks like Emo is a decent bit behind here, but she's not that far behind. You know, since she has completed Eastern Palace, and that is probably a trip that rdwalsh is going to have to make at some point. But it could depend on what our goal is, how many crystals we need to defeat Ganon, or if defeating Ganon even is our goal in this seed.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm looking forward to the most, when we actually find out what we have to do here.
Because normally you think, like, oh, it's not really a waste of time to go complete a crystal, but if your goal is pedestal, it definitely can be.
And with checking the Aether Tablet, that is also Dark World access for EmoSaru. Now, I really hope that she does go into Hera. There she goes. Yes, it looks good. Not super important, but the Butter Sword is a nice find. K45 has us a small key to Skullwoods. A nice pickup, because that does open up a couple of checks. And chat being cruel as usual. Pet goal with hookshotting Ganon's tower.
We will get to see what the goal is fairly soon, as rdwalsh completes his Dark World loop. Saw him leave behind the purple chest here. This is a weird little glitch where if you just stay in the Dark World, the game thinks you still have the chest, so if you just mirror right next to Gary in a couple of screens, he'll just give you the item.
Is Gary his actual name, or is that just what you call him?
That's the meme name, but I am not responsible for it. I've just heard the purple chest called Gary's lunchbox a lot.
And that's a small key to Ganon's tower. Okay, so we have a map check, and chat already confirmed we have the 3 pendants in the Southern Ice Palace, Misery Mire, and the green one in Swamp Palace. And Pod having the other red crystal together with Desert Palace.
And looks like Emo is going to clear another crystal as she is headed back to Skull Woods.
The modular arena is a little bit more restrictive with what bosses can appear there. I don't think we can get Cold Stare there, and we also cannot get Tranix there. But here we have Hype Cave, Shovel, and Quake. The question is, do we need that Quake? So
yeah, not the most exciting Hype Cave we've ever seen.
I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 10, but it goes up to a 5 if that Quake ends up being needed.
Those flippers are important now for rdwalsh to just swim around. Will show us this big key on the Hylia Island.
Desert Palace. So that's now completely completable.
Yeah, once again, the key logic, though, says Landmo is not in logic until we find the small key, because you could always seal the key and use it in the front. So, Bugnet over in Skull Woods, and rdwalsh is about to show us the goal.
That's why I'm happy to have you here with me commentating, because you understand his key logic much, much better than I do. At all. I just don't understand it at all.
Well, see, the trick is that key logic thinks like you're an idiot, so you just have to think like an idiot, and then you understand key logic. So that's my approach, at least.
All right. It says you need all 7 crystals to beat Ganon. So with that, we still don't know. Wait, they didn't go all the way up, did they? So chat is saying it's fast Ganon.
Yeah, I did not actually see the hole in the pyramid, but if that hole in the pyramid was there, then that would definitely mean fast Ganon.
And there's EmoSaru, but they no hammer, so the helmet is gonna have to come off with bombs.
Oh, this is going to be an interesting fight.
So normally it's 17 hammer shots, but 5 bombs will take care of that helmet. But they have to actually hit, though. It's not that easy.
Would be a lot easier without these conveyor belts around, but...
Yeah, whose idea was this to put EmoSaru on a conveyor belt? Catfish giving hook shots.
Oh, how did that last one not hit? Emo's down to her last bomb at this point.
And that tail
and it just bounced
bomb
off.
is saying, no, get out.
Emo just having really unfortunate luck with the bosses today. Just barely not getting that Helma kill. And, of course, the Ice Rod incident before with that Trinex. So she will have to come back at another time to finish off that EmoSaru.
I want to ask chat real quick. Did you guys actually see the hole in the top of the pyramid, or was there something else that tipped you off towards the it being fast Ganon?
I think we got a correction that that there was not a hole there, so it might be a defeat Ganon seed. In which case, we will need to do Ganon's tower, and of course, find the GT big key somewhere along the line.
There's that second castle tower key. Of course, Misery Mire is a pendant, so as long as the pedestal is not required, I don't think the flute is required either. Or am I wrong here?
Yeah, flute would only be logically required if we need to get into Mire or get something out of Mire Shed or, say, Checkerboard Cave.
That big spike block being a bit in the way there. EmoSaru taking a hit to get through. And talking about Misery Mire, the big key for Misery Mire was just found by rdwalsh in Paradox Cave.
Of course, we will also need the boots to be able to actually get that flute off of the lumberjack, so we will not see Aga before the boots show up.
And even then, would you go to Aga for that flute early, or would you just put it off as a last check in case you really need to get to that Mire area?
That is a really tough call with Mire being a pendant. Yeah, I don't know. That's a hard gamble to think about.
Ganon's Tower big key in Super Bunny chests.
Alright, so there's pretty much all of our required big keys. Of course, Hera logically required, but we can just Hera pot to get around that.
To answer chest, the goal is to defeat Ganon, but we, as far as we know, it's normal Ganon defeat and not fast Ganon. And another cannon tower, small key. And the hammer. So we'll probably see rdwalsh making having a much easier time on EmoSaru when he finally gets 2 Skull Woods.
And that looks like a key out there on the Hookshot Cave Island, unless I'm mistaken. But rdwalsh was just there and didn't go grab it.
So ether is required. The hookshot was from Catfish.
Yeah, and you have to expect that Emo is going to do pretty much all the same stuff that rdwalsh did in this Dark World loop, but is a few minutes behind because of some different routing choices so far. And we see 4 crystals there on the Ganon's Tower entry.
And with already 2 small keys and the big key found from rdwalsh, you gotta wonder what items are hiding in there that you may need for more crystals. And I think finding blind here is going to be a bit of a sigh of relief for EmoSaru, thinking, okay, a boss I know I can easily defeat, nothing to worry about. Those red guards, though, vicious.
Yeah, and she will be seeing some checks here that rdwalsh has not, since he just killed the boss and then left Thieves' Town.
Now this room is vicious.
Oh,
Those
and
giant
Emo
crystal roller, I don't think you could even get around that giant crystal roller. Was there any safe spot to get around?
Yeah, I think from where Emo was, she was not getting out of that room alive. She might have a better chance of, or a better idea of how to attack it the second time through here.
That's Randomizer for you, folks.
Yeah, it does not care where those crystal rollers go. It does not care if you have a nice, easy way to get through there. It just does what it wants.
Yeah, it says figure it out.
I think that was a full magic stun prize there that Emo just found.
As far as stun prizes go, I think that one's really up there. That's a mean big spike block. Oh yeah, you can get on the right side here of the crystal roller, but that chain chop is in the way. It almost feels like you need cape to get through this.
Yeah, I think the right approach is going to be judicious use of iframes. We're going to clear out some enemies first. And yep, just going to tank the hit and walk straight through.
But that hit hard, down to 1 heart now. So that red guard not giving up. And I was about to say those grasshoppers hurt a lot, but who knows what we have here. That's a welcome drop, though. To answer that, Jiffy, I think EmoSaru was trying to do exactly that, but didn't quite make it, and then ran out of bombs, so couldn't do it again.
Yes,
That's funny though. EmoSaru is spending the time to open up the attic out of pure reflex, while she already knows that it's entrance randomizer, boss randomizer.
So some scary bombers. Oh my gosh, this
So
toilet room
many.
full of red guards. Oh, and she takes another death there. I think this is the point where you just leave behind the maiden cell, just go kill the boss, and then get out of here.
No, does she? No, she has no more keys left. So yeah, it's just the maiden cell. That big chest is still unavailable at this time.
Yeah, so then you're not really totally isolating the big chest, since you would still have the maiden cell that you could check when you come back.
And rdwalsh approaching EmoSaru. He's actually finally going to find out that it is boss randomizer. But he's going to be happy that he has that hammer.
And he's halfway through the mask as Emo finishes off blind without any trouble.
And that conveyor belt's still not making it easy for those hammer hits, though. But Buttersword making quick work of the final phase. And this puts both players at 2 crystals. Getting a pet check, while EmoSaru is gonna go pick up a little bit of love. Just some bombs
and just
on the pedestal.
3 bombs on the pedestal. And Emo also setting up to do Smith's Chain on her way through the South Dark World.
And we're gonna get a dip here into Swamp Palace.
Yeah, this is our green pendant swamp. We have had these flippers and the mirror for quite a while.
And making good use of the mirror, going to check Magic Bat while she's here. Unfortunately, she hasn't gone Catfish yet for the hook shot, which would have led to the hammer on Darkness Mountain, so that the hammer pegs could be taken right alongside with it. But it's one more check than rdwalsh was able to do when they were here.
Yeah, and that means she is losing her Dark World portal, unfortunately, so we'll have to go back through a portal, or maybe just save and quit to turn on the purple chest, but no, probably looks like she'll just head back into the village and back into the Dark World right away.
Chat coming up with the best ideas ever. A run where they tell everybody it's a randomizer, but it's actually vanilla. Something that would be fairly easy to plandomize, I guess. And we're gonna go left side swamp. So rdwalsh really committing for this dip into Easter Battles, getting a lot of the stuff out of the way here, a lot of the checks.
Yeah, you have to think that Emo is pretty much going to be following in rdwalsh's footsteps here for a few minutes, going probably all the way around to Catfish, taking the hook shot up to Death Mountain, and unfortunately, without that Skull Woods clear, she will not be at 4 crystals when she sees that GT entrance requirement.
I'm gonna start with choosing not to dash. You can cut down your journey to this guy short, like we saw earlier on rdwalsh's side.
Well, we still have no boots yet, so...
Right. I keep forgetting about that. I'm so used to having boots. Yes, both players have Titan mitts. Oh, I see. Yeah, it's on our tracker. It's not updated on EmoSaru's side. And there it is. It's updated. Thank you, chat, for pointing that out.
And so far, this trip into Swamp has not done much of anything for rdwalsh.
Yeah, it's a lot of time spent, but no results. None yet, anyway. We're not through entirely.
That seems good.
Sorry?
That was the bow in the Swamp Palace big chest.
Definitely good pickup for when you do need it. And pick it up quick
as
in
mandatory.
hype. As mandatory?
I was going to say the bow not as mandatory in Randomizer, since you don't need it for back of Eastern, but it is still hard required to get to the boss of Palace of Darkness.
Which is, of course, a crystal in this run, and it's not just a crystal; it's a red crystal. So, what would you think this time spent was worth it just for that bow?
Oh, absolutely. Because who knows where that second one is going to be. Could be somewhere deep in GT or in another pendant dungeon. I think you're never unhappy to get some sort of progressive item out of your pendant dip. Ooh, Emo not going to check the goal at the pyramid. That also means she is not headed up to Catfish to find that hook shot, unfortunately.
Another EmoSaru. To answer chat, the red crystals are also known as the 5-6 crystals, are the 2 crystals that when you have them, unlock buying a big bomb in the bomb shop, which is where Link's house is in the light world, but in the dark world, and bringing that big bomb to the pyramid opens up a check where there are 2 chests for you to find.
Oh, I was really hoping Emo was going to go back to do Mothula, but it makes sense that she's not especially interested in that until she has the hammer.
Which we know, of course, is available, but she needs to make her way to Catfish first. With that bottle, though, checking Sick Kid, I was just thinking, neither player has done that yet, right? And here we have 300 rupees.
Seeing a shovel check on rdwalsh's side.
But that's some measly 20 rupees. But I'm liking what I'm seeing here from EmoSaru. We're gonna get a bumper ledge check, and then probably going into Graveyard Ledge, King's Tomb, or has they done King's Tomb yet?
Still no boots for King's Tomb, so.
That's right. But what was on that ledge? I didn't see.
Single arrow up there on bumper ledge.
Okay, so that cape can rest for a while longer on the top of that bookcase in library. The Arrow of Destiny, yes, definitely. And hammer pegs for rdwalsh. Now, I'm hoping that EmoSaru does route through from here to Catfish. Just some bombs and just a rupee. And of course that magic bat check for rdwalsh. Looks like we are going to Catfish for EmoSaru. I don't think EmoSaru has seen the pyramid yet, though. So not knowing what it says there on the sign, nor what is on the ledge.
And that's a pretty bold move, because not knowing whether it's a pedestal or crystal goal really changes how you play the seed.
Yeah, that surprised me a bit that she hasn't checked that, because indeed, that is a significant difference. Knowing what you have to do can be the difference in winning and losing. There was another match where it was Ender's Randomizer, and both players found Ganon in the first 5 minutes of the game, I think it was. But one of them saw Ganon, was surprised, save and quit, while the other read what Ganon said and found out it was 0 crystal fast Ganon. So while he was preparing to set everything up and just clearing Ganon, the other person didn't know, and they found out too late, and that in itself led to the loss of that match. So knowing what you actually have to do is huge.
And rdwalsh is now also going back into Thieves Town while in the area, so he's going to get to deal with this very exciting switch room right after the Hellway.
And EmoSaru now finding out You need 7 crystals, and I indeed did not see a hole on top, so I really think it is indeed the just regular beat cannon. They got through there very smoothly.
Yeah, they're sitting on 12 hearts, so they could just tank a roller hit or two.
rdwalsh resisting that muscle memory of opening the attic with a bomb. To give small information, this was actually the very first race of this week in the Open League. It was a race where with Entrance Randomizer, but both Sanctuary and Lumberjack Cave were vanilla. But when they dropped into Thieves Hideout, there was Ganon. You can find the VOD, it's definitely worth a watch. It's only like a 45-minute match, so it's not going to take a lot of time, but it's very exciting, very fun. And you can find it, I think, on the ALTTPR League Twitch.
And rdwalsh also having struggles with that room. Not surprising with that many crystal rollers around, so we'll have to go back through and hit that switch again, but doesn't have to go upstairs since he's already cleared the attic chest.
It's something. It doesn't have to go actually through the room, just into it. But then after, the surprise of all the red guards awaits him. It's just mean how that roller just is right on top of you as you enter the room already. Making quick use of the red potion just to not have to go start over again.
Yeah, and rdwalsh will have the option to bust out the Quake medallion for this room full of red guards if he needs it, but having used that red potion probably will not need to anymore.
Just ignores them. Bye-bye. EmoSaru now also finding the Ganon Tower big key, and will soon get their hammer in Hookshot Cave.
And just a green rupee in Zelda's cell. The EmoSaru fans in the audience have to really hope that this Thieves Town big chest is nothing.
I was about to say, this is the kind of this is partially a moment of truth. Okay, so that is good for EmoSaru. Of course, if she ends up going back there, that'll be some time lost, but at least she won't fall behind from not having gone there.
Yeah, and it feels like Pod is the play now. rdwalsh will also be able to go back and finish off the Trinex in Eastern Palace, but we know that doesn't lead to any progression.
He might as well do it while he's here. The crystal is needed. He knows he needs 7 of them for Ganon. And while he's here, he can also hand in the green pendant. EmoSaru is going to go pick up that key on Floating Island, though, which rdwalsh did not. A small key to Palace of Darkness, definitely a good find. The small keys for Palace of Darkness make routing a lot easier and open up so many more options.
Yeah, and lowers the chances that you will have to double dip, although Emo will definitely want to have a bow before she goes back, so we'll see if she decides to do Swamp Palace after this Death Mountain trip like rdwalsh did.
And Green Pendant leads to some love. And EmoSaru now also taking the Walk of Shame through Spiral Cave, not having those boots. It's a long walk. Oh boy, the critical roll has got to be avoided. so that you don't lose Kiki. And I think EmoSaru is now also going to go up to check what Turtle Rock is all about. And is going to find out that you need a Ether medallion to get in there.
With 2 pod small keys and the big, rdwalsh can clear out a good chunk of Palace of Darkness, but we'll see if he decides to beat the boss on his first trip in here, because then you sort of give up your access to the back of the dungeon.
EmoSaru opting to go into Tower of Hera. With that hook shot, of course, they can use hook speed to get up and defeat Moldorm. Or it looks like they're maybe opting for Bomb. Of course, still need the hook shot to get actually into the pot. And gets out on the first try. Nice. Makes it look easy. It really is not. And chat pointing out that again, I forget that boots are a thing.
Well, ever since Ladder went to half starting equipment boots, it's easy to forget.
As well as SG Live. You gotta have to take that hit. Yeah, there we go. You have to take that hit. If that's if that laser is on the conveyor belt, you have to take the hit, or you can just hit yourself with a bulb to get some iframes. But there's no other way to get through. That was an incredibly quick Moldorm fight. I practically missed it. Vanilla
So third
Moldorm
crystal
though,
for
that's a bit
Emo.
boring.
Did have some extra eyes, though, it looked like, so. And we see rdwalsh is going to opt for actually defeating EmoSaru while he's here. So that means Emo will see some stuff in the back of the dungeon that rdwalsh will not for quite a bit.
You say EmoSaru, but
Oh, that's true. Good point.
and we're getting a spy cave check from EmoSaru that we did not see from rdwalsh. Using that red potion to get through there without a cape and without a blue cane. And that's a Turtle Rock small key. I think that's very welcome. Of course, still out of logic until they find the blue cane or the boots, which are required to get the cape.
But yes, that Turtle Rock small key, very welcome. You need at least 3 to get to Trinex, and maybe all 4 if you want to pick up the lava chest on the way. And we'll see who's hiding in Palace of Darkness.
A third EmoSaru! But this is vanilla, so this is not that exciting. I wanted more Trinexes.
I mean, after rdwalsh did the Helmacopter, all the other Helmas are just really dull.
That's a welcome safety though, red mail from EmoSaru.
And rdwalsh will now be able to mirror back to Eastern Palace and take down that Trinex, although he does not know what boss is there. And then that will give him the 4 crystals he needs so that Ganon's Tower will be an option.
And with those small keys and the big key, he can do a lot in there. How many keys do you need? Small keys do you need to be able to clear out the bottom?
Oh my gosh, to clear out the bottom, I think you just need 2, but then you won't be able to do the climb, and you only need 1 to do the climb, since you can pick up an extra one in the mini Helma room at the very end. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think. Well, but you can leave off. You know, with 2, you can pretty much clear everything except the map chest. So 1 chest in the basement, and then do the climb.
Finding a small key to Misery Mire there in the Desert Palace big chest.
And so this answers our question. Emo does not seem excited about this Swamp Palace idea. It looks like she's going to go clear out the Desert Palace crystal and then maybe head back to Skull Woods. She might be thinking that she sees 4 crystals and she sees GT entry. So we'll see if that is her plan to rush that trip up to Ganon's Tower.
I definitely understand that choice, considering that Swamp Palace is a pendant, and you want to, of course, avoid spending time where it's not needed. But of course, without that bow, Paths of Darkness will stay a dream. Those shadows are ever so elusive. And Trinex. Of course, with a Butter Sword, only requires 3 hits on a head after hitting it with the correct element. And we have Cold Stare in the Landmo room, and both bosses are taken down simultaneously.
And a question in chat from GFE. Yes, the Hinox is like literally the only enemy in the game. Maybe there's one more, I forget, but it's one of the very few enemies in the game that actually treats a gold slash different from a gold spin. I have no idea why.
This puts both players at 4 crystals, so we might actually see both players going up to the Ganon's Tower now. What do you mean this game is absurd? This game is perfectly programmed, and you know it. Developers make no mistakes.
I mean, we give a lot of crap to how broken this game is when we intentionally play the most broken version of it.
But this is a choice we make. The devs didn't choose to make it this broken. This was not their intention. But of course, trying to find out what people's actual intention are is always a dangerous thing. Never try to speak for somebody else's intention. So we do have 4 crystals on both players, but Walsh opting to go into Desert Palace now, while EmoSaru is gonna go get those hammer pegs done. Will not be rewarded for it because it's just some bombs in there.
Yeah, and I wonder if she's gonna head back into Thieves Town, or if she's just on her way to Skull Woods and Hammer Pegs is right here.
I would think actually both. Thieves Town first, and then to Skullwoods.
Oh, Ether on the right side of Desert Palace. That is huge for rdwalsh. Since Emo has already finished a Desert, it's going to be tough for her to get back there and grab that required Ether off of the right side.
Especially without that flute. You don't really want to run all the way over there. Where did Walsh pick up that small key to Desert Palace?
I believe the Desert Small Key was in Pod.
Which, of course, you don't really want to go do unless you have a bow, for which Swamp Palace needs to be dipped first. It's a mess. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, I think Emo really needs that second bow to be in Ganon's tower. That's probably her best chance at this point.
If it is though, that would be a big win, because then she doesn't have to go into Swamp Palace at all. And in a moment, we'll see both players fight Helmasaur, but in completely different locations, of course. Oh wait, no, it wasn't it's Coldstare in Desert Palace, isn't it?
Yes, which actually could be tough for rdwalsh if he doesn't keep an eye on his magic meter. Of course, you can refill your magic from under these pots up here.
EmoSaru out for revenge.
So yes, heads up from rdwalsh, grabbing that small magic refill, just like Emo did, so has full magic for Cold Stare.
And of course, needing that full magic, or you can't break it with the Fire Rod not having that Bombos tablet, and then makes extremely quick work, and getting into that fight much later, but of course finishing it off at the same time as EmoSaru finished off Helmasaur in the back of Skull Woods for both of their 5th crystal.
Definitely have to give the edge on that 5th crystal to rdwalsh, though, since he has Tower of Hera to finish off, which is very fast with Hera Pot.
Oh, I absolutely agree with you. I absolutely agree. And I think that's exactly what he's going to be doing.
Ooh, Emo is breaking out the hammer. She could be going into Swamp.
So if I see this correctly... Sorry? Go ahead.
I was going to say, she is going to get that bow out of the Swamp Big Chest.
And then we can just hope that she dips right out, so she just nopes out right after. So am I correct in saying that it's just Red Cane for Go mode for Walsh?
Red Cane and then some Turtle Rock small keys.
Oh yeah, he does not have enough Turtle Rock small keys to get all the way through.
And then we would potentially need another GT small key, depending on how many get spent clearing out the basement.
And with him going to the Dark World here, I expect him to be going maybe dipping Turtle Rock, or he's gonna go clear Hera and dip into Ganon's Tower in a moment.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what placements could save Emo here. Kane in the back of Palace of Darkness might do it, depending on when rdwalsh finds this other... Well, he's getting the other Palace of Darkness small key right now.
That would definitely be huge, because Walsh doesn't really want to have to go back there.
Yeah, whereas Emo is going to very naturally clear out the back of Pod when she goes to kill whatever boss was there, I forget now.
It was Helmasaur.
Oh yes, Vanilla Helmasaur, of course.
Because this isn't randomized at all.
I mean, chat was so close. We pretty much have oops all Helmas.
Yeah, we've had 3 so far. One in one Palace of Darkness, one in Skull Woods, and the last one was... Where was the last one? Oh right, in Swamp Palace.
So, moment of truth for Emo of whether she decides to immediately nope out after this bow.
goes and gets the other small chest first. Why, oh why, doesn't she know all the things we know?
Yeah, as we learned last week, this game's a whole lot easier if you just have a list of where all the items are.
Imagine that. And having that bow continues on, but not doing left side. If she stays away from left side swamp, that will save her some time. And the red
Oh
key
my
is in
goodness.
GT, so we are just missing one more small key for Turtle Rock. And that's it, I think.
Yeah, because there was also a small TR key in the Dark Magician's room there, so... I'm not so sure about opening up that door right there, because that's a whole GT small key for just one item.
So this room that Walsh just passed, I have a question about that room, because there's 2 switches there, but somehow, when I throw a boomerang in that room, I hit 3. How does that work?
I do not know what to tell you about that one.
And Helmstar number 3 going down on EmoSaru's side. It is defeat Ganon, because they still do have to clear Ganon's tower. And I'm expecting Walsh will just go through the entire thing while he is here. He has the keys required.
Yeah, he does have the option of finishing out the basement and then going to try and clear Turtle Rock, since you will wind up on the pyramid if you defeat Ganon's tower.
Fair point. So maybe he'll finish the basement, exit out, mirror, defeat Moldorm, uses Mirror Portal again, do Turtle Rock, and then come back.
Yeah, especially having found the Hera basement key here in GT as well.
And we have Moxula here in the almost night room on ice. But without those spikes flying around, suddenly that boss is easy. Who knew? And there goes EmoSaru off to Palace of Darkness. Unfortunately, there's not going to be really much there to help her out in catching up.
And yeah, I'm clearly confused about where all of the small key doors in the Ganon's Tower basement are. Because is there one more on this right side on the way to Ice Armors from here? Is that the extra key that rdwalsh is saving here? Because I know we're going to steal one right after the compass room.
There's one more there, yeah, but you don't want to... He won't be using that, of course. Since even if he gets a key, he won't need to, because he's already cleared the Armos Night Room. It's unfortunate timing from that crystal switch that the anti-fairy gets through. And there's the other bow.
So it would have been there had EmoSaru rushed this Ganon's Tower trip, but went into Swamp Palace instead and found the bow there.
Walsh deciding to go up the tower though, or not. Decides against it at the last second. And here we're gonna have the Tower of Hera clear.
Yeah, this definitely makes sense, because it costs you basically no time. You're going to have to do Hera sooner or later. And if you find your last Turtle Rock small key in here, then you're in go mode.
So lining up that bomb is a lot harder without boots, apparently.
Yeah, this is a very precise trick, and there are various kinds of lineups that you can use with the switch blocks over there, but there's even some stuff with subpixels that you have to worry about depending on your setup. So rdwalsh is going to reset the room and not head back in. Interesting.
He's had enough. He doesn't like Tower of Hera anymore. He says, I'm just gonna do Ganon's Tower. This tower I can do. To that in chat, I think Walsh definitely does know Hera pot, but it seems like he had some trouble setting it up.
But yeah, that could be very big if he actually has to find that Tower of Hera big key to finish the game.
And there's the Tower of Hera big key. I think that's what I saw.
That is indeed what was there.
Ah, that Green Crystal Roller is just being mean.
Yeah, normally your Ganon's Tower trip becomes a little bit easier in EmoSaru just because there aren't many ways that the randomizer can make it worse. And Hera Big Key was in the left side of the dark basement of Pod, which rdwalsh was in with only 2 Pod small keys when he went in to defeat the boss.
But isn't that a room that he should be able to get into?
Well, he opened the front door, so he could have theoretically gotten into it by going through the right side a couple of times, but he was just not interested in investing that much time into it, which is understandable.
Yeah, choosing to open the front door is not a mandatory key, but it does save you some time if you just want to get to the boss, which is pretty much what he did. He went very quickly to the boss.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw our runners putting off Pod for a while, only having those 2 small keys. And so that was definitely why, because you have to make some choices about what you're going to skip when you come in with only those couple of keys.
Land Mode 2 is actually Land Mode 2. Game, you can do better. We expect more. So to inform the chat for anybody that may have come in later, the settings for this randomizer is that enemies are random, so any enemy can appear anywhere. Bosses are thrown about as well. Any boss can be replaced with almost any boss. And they have to defeat Ganon after going through Ganon's Tower. Now, they were able to enter Ganon's Tower with only 4 crystals, but they still need to get all the way up to 7 crystals before they can actually defeat Ganon. Which is what we're seeing right now on Walsh's side. He is in Ganon's Tower with only 6 crystals. Actually, correction, 5 crystals. But he will still need to get those last 2 after clearing before he can go and defeat Ganon. Additionally, all small keys and big keys and compasses of all dungeons can be anywhere in the world.
EmoSaru getting deadrocked pretty hard in that run up to the Helma room.
I mean, of all rooms to have dead rocks in them, why did it have to be that one?
Because the god of Randomizer is a vengeful god, I think is the answer.
There was another Balance of Darkness small key there in that mini Helmasaur room. And a small key to Ganon's Tower in the final chest before Moldorm. And here there's another Mothula. And again, Mothula is so not threatening with all his spikes around him.
Yeah, sword beams were the biggest enemy in that fight, slowing rdwalsh down. Yeah, so to explain, for those who are newer to the randomizer, in these mystery settings, it can be set so you need, theoretically, any number of crystals to get into Ganon's tower, any number of crystals to actually make Ganon vulnerable to be killed. And so these just happen to randomize that we need all 7 crystals to actually defeat Ganon, although we can get into GT much sooner.
And EmoSaru going to pick up that big bomb now, going to the Pyramid Ferry. We're having a bit of trouble on that 3rd cycle of Aga. I think that's another hit, yeah. That was a double, so that's puts up to 4, I think. And that's Aga 2 down. Bit of trouble on 2nd and 3rd cycle, but still very smooth, taking barely or no hits on Walsh's side. Getting confirmation there that indeed the pyramid is not open at the top.
Emo and I think alike. I always sort of double check that to be sure I actually have it correct. And nothing in the Pyramid Ferry.
Yeah, that sign said exactly, you need 7 crystals to defeat Ganon. From that we know it's going to be either a fast Ganon or a defeat Ganon. And then you can check the pyramid on top, and because it's not open, we know it's not a fast Ganon, it's just a defeat Ganon. Other than those 2 options, there is the pedestal and the all dungeons, which the sign would say if it was either one of those 2.
Or, of course, Triforce Hunt, but you would see that immediately because you would have a counter of the number of Triforce pieces that you needed to collect, so...
And now EmoSaru going over to Turtle Rock. But of course that is still missing the Ether medallion.
Yeah, and this means she's going to sink a lot of time into Ganon's tower looking for that ether, unfortunately. We'll get the Cane of Samaria out of there, but until she heads back to Desert Palace, to find that ether on the right side, will not be able to get into Turtle Rock, and that is a tough ask because those items are pretty isolated at this point.
And the only thing we can hope is that she decides to eventually go to Desert Palace, because there is, of course, 2 items behind that door, but it's so out of the way because you have to run all the way there without that flute. You really don't want to be going there. Walsh is still missing a key for Turtle Rock. Hoping to find that final key in here.
Which is certainly not out of the question. He can clear everything but Lava Chest and Trinex itself with the keys that he currently has.
Definitely plenty of chests in here, especially on Laser Bridge. There's also 4, and he's done a lot of checks everywhere else. There's not that much left. Well, this room just got a lot easier.
And just for added frustration on Emo's side, she has not seen what's in Zelda's cell since she stole the key and went back to the sewers forever ago in Hyrule Castle, so for all she knows, Ether could be there.
Making very good use of those sword beams. Yeah, I think we might even see Ice Palace before she goes back to Desert Palace.
Yeah, and if rdwalsh does not find his Turtle Rock small key in here, it's going to sort of be a battle of the one-off locations to see who can find their weirdly placed item first.
And first molecular fight for EmoSaru. Shadows in the Mimic Cave, that's gonna be an annoying one. Just some bombs though. Yes, Walsh did indeed skip Tile Room.
which I didn't think was allowed for someone on the Tile Roomies team, but what do I know?
Yeah, they're gonna have to have some discussion amongst their teammates after this match. And we'll start being bullied there by the fire spinners. While Walsh is being bullied by those lasers. But he says, hey, I have blue cane, you don't bother me.
So 4 items left on Laser Bridge to bail out rdwalsh here.
That's a Balance of Darkness key. And that's a negatory. Skullwood's Bicky is the last item he gets in here.
And yeah, he's going to go out the safety door and at least attempt to save the portal here to be able to get back into Laser Bridge quickly, except forgot to actually portal. Yeah, it depends on what he has left to check. How many of those are in the Light World and Dark World?
I think he still has Spike Cave left to check. Doesn't that have a key to Turtle Rock?
It does, yes.
As EmoSaru goes into land mode 2. Which is actually land mode 1 in this seed. And now we're seeing Walsh go into Ice Palace, actually. But I don't think he'll find what he needs here.
I mean, it still might be that, because we've only seen 3 of the 4 Turtle Rock keys, so there might still be one in here, and it's understandable. I think this is the most item-dense location that rdwalsh has left.
Dude, that's the most unfortunate thing about Randomizer rooms, though. The inability of doing those Cadus and Maria rooms with those wizards so cleanly. Boots! We have boots!
So now the question is, does rdwalsh go ahead and do Aga to be able to grab his flute off of the lumberjack ledge?
To then go look for items in Misery Mire. Very smooth icebreaker, which is a icebreaker is actually this room. A very smooth door state extension is actually what it is. And we're coming up on Mothula 2 in a moment for EmoSaru, picking up the silvers just before. Or no, silvers is just a moment in the next chests.
I was thinking the silvers were the compass room.
Missed. Yeah. You're absolutely right. I was misremembering that. But EmoSaru did not do the right side.
Yeah, so Emo did skip a fair bit of the basement in favor of the climb sooner. So it feels like she is maybe taking some risks at this point.
And now it's time for some agonometry on EmoSaru's side. Have a bit of a bad spin there. And then, of course, a blue. More blue, so we're cycles in and nothing yet. And that was 2 hits, but I don't think that counted as a double. That was definitely a double though, so that I think that's up to 3 now.
I think that was 2, so we should be at 5.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
nope.
she got 3 hits in the previous cycle, but it all counted only as 1. Because if those orbs hit at the same time, it only counts as 1. Oh no! Walsh just got grabbed by a Wallmaster!
Oh. And that's the worst part of Enemizer, is Wallmaster is right there.
A Wallmaster right before the Cold Stare Arena.
Oh, is this sending him up the mountain? Is he going to do Spike Cave?
I think it's very likely. He still needs to clear Tower of Hera, but Spike Cave is on his way there.
And presuming that rdwalsh gets that
no.
Hera pot to work this time around. Oh, no, he's just headed back to Hera.
He has those boots. He's thinking, Hera pot can't stop me now. I've heard some people say hook speed pot is better. But if you can't do the other one, you're limiting yourself. Which is what has slowed down Walsh from clearing this, and he accidentally runs downstairs.
Yeah, I think the hook speed pot is frankly a little bit tougher, but you have a little bit more leeway with it because you can just try over and over again, as we saw here. rdwalsh is going to go ahead and check the basement while he's here.
And here we see that play we were talking about earlier with EmoSaru also going into Ice Palace now before Desert Palace.
And there are boots on Emo's side.
And you have to give a sit rep. That pretty much sums it up. We're missing 1 small key for Turtle Rock on Walsh's side, and we're missing the Ether Medallion on EmoSaru's side. Spike Cave has the key that Walsh needs, while right side Desert Palace has what EmoSaru needs. And Turtle Rock is the last clear they both need, once Walsh has of course finished Tower of Hera here. And now Herapod done, Walsh going up.
Herapot being the true final boss just about for Walsh today.
And there we have Moldorum with 4 eyes again. If you had any hopes of sleeping tonight, well, they're gone.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why Walsh does not do Spike Cave immediately after this. It's the only thing he has left on Death Mountain. Doesn't want to isolate it, and I think we saw him menu to that hammer for exactly that purpose.
And that is gonna put Walsh on his path to the finish. All right, 1 hour, 52 minutes, and 38 seconds. Walsh hits go mode with keys and everything. He has already cleared out most of Turtle Rock, but that doesn't save you that much time. Turtle Rock being very linear, he's gonna have to go through most of it again. But once he gets to where he got before a laser bridge, he can just make his way through that crystal switch maze and into the Trinex fight. And let's see what boss awaits him there.
Emo dodging that wall master that got rdwalsh before.
And there we have Vitreous in the Cold Stare Arena. But without his pool under him, he's not really a threat. Not as much anyway. But I must agree with chat, at this point, it would require some serious mistakes from Walsh to be able to lose this race. Even if Imo goes to Desert Palace right now, it's gonna take her longer to go through Turtle Rock because it'll be first time through there. And by the time she gets to Turtle Rock, she'll be that much behind.
Yeah, and Walsh really does not have that long to finish this seed. He's probably going to be done in under 2 hours, despite this sort of miserable trip that we've had through this seed.
Getting a King's Tomb check here from EmoSaru.
And following up on Boots from her perspective is totally the logical move. Again, just so unfortunate that it's that Desert Palace check that's so far away and such a pain to get to that got isolated.
Does she have that key though?
Tracker says yes, and I believe it was in Palace of Darkness, and she cleared out everything that Walsh
right.
did there and more. So
Yes, it was there. I remember now.
oh my gosh, she has not scouted Aga yet, so she's going to go see that flute for the first time right now.
This is the kind of moment where I wish we sometimes still had cameras like an SGL to see that reaction at that time. Place your bets. What boss are we gonna see here? Another cold stare. Bets have 3 bombs. And that was an incredibly fast cold stare fight.
Yeah, for once, the new arena actually made that fight a little bit trickier with those spikes up in the corner where you normally want to be standing to slash the puffs, but Walsh able to take them down very quickly anyway, and will be headed to the Ganon fight.
EmoSaru doesn't seem to be very sure what she wants to do. Is she heading to Desert Palace? I think she is. This is the right move, but I fear it is a bit too late with rdwalsh going to Ganon right now. Yeah, it looked like she wanted to go to Castle Tower. She got out of Link's house and made her way towards the castle, but then saved and quit going back to Link's house. It was a bit of an odd routing, but this is, of course, as we know, the right choice.
And she'll be picking up this ether and hitting her go mode at about the time that rdwalsh drops into the Ganon fight.
Nice. Fairy there. Hey, it's a time difference that you don't want to see. This is one hell of a difference to still make up. There you go. If you wanted to know more about Goose and Geese, then Ganon's got you covered. Of course, with 16 hearts and red mail, this is gonna be a very easy fight with also Silvers and Butter Sword. Walsh will have no trouble taking Ganon down already into phase 3.
And there's the 4th hit to move us into phase 4, and silver arrows will make quick work here as well.
Almost gets the triple. The double is hard enough. The triple is insane. Nearly gets it, but quickly puts in the 4th shot. And that brings us to the end for Walsh. Let's get some GGs in chats. An hour 59 and about 30. His timer hasn't stopped, and I haven't checked the official time, but this was one hell of a seed, just under the 2 hours.
Absolutely. GG's to rdwalsh, and we see Emo stopping there. She did officially forfeit just after rdwalsh finished, so we will see if we can get our runners into chat here to talk about this whale of a seed that we just saw. And we did have a question in chat about Icebreaker. That was deemed legal, I think, just after League Season 2. There was just a decision period where the racing council that makes decisions about glitches that are allowed in Rando was taking a look at it. But yeah, there hasn't really been any flip-flopping, just kind of a delay on when it was officially deemed legal for races. But we do have
randomizer though. It's still not legal in No Major Glitch speedruns.
Correct. The Rando community sort of sets their own rules, which is very different from the NMG community. So, and we are joined in chat by EmoSaru. So, GG's.
That was real dumb.
GG.
That whole seed was real dumb. Thank you.
There was a lot of dumbness in that seed, to be sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that Helmasaur in Skull Woods was pretty unfortunate. The whole flippers to Ice Rod to back to Trinex in Eastern Palace. Yeah, there was a lot of craziness there.
Yeah, the first half of that just felt insane, and then I saw some people sort of expressing wonder at me going to Desert instead of just going to Aga after I saw the flute for the first time. And the reason that I went back to Desert is because I had very seriously considered stealing the key early on. And I was basically having one of those, oh God, if it's that, I'm gonna be so pissed. And then it was. So I was so pissed.
Yeah, that's understandable. That was really unfortunate of, just going to Desert when you did and kind of making the logical play to get the crystal done, and then you just sort of got randoed by that ether medallion.
I mean, it happens. This is kind of why, I don't know. I don't love racing Key Sanity. And it's partly because of stuff like this. There's a lot more critical junctures especially now, after a bunch of evolution of the game, than you have in normal rando. So, like there's just a lot more possibilities for getting randoed depending on how aggressively you play. And I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of it, but I'm glad Mystery Week is over for me.
And we have also got rdwalsh in chat with us as well. GG's to you. How did you feel about this one?
GG Walsh.
Yeah, thanks for the GGs. I felt good in like most of the early game because I was able to just like kind of just do a lot of weird things. But yeah, the more the seed went on and like the longer it took me to like find the third T-Rock small, I just it just didn't like the second I opened GT, like it just didn't feel good. Like that hunt was just really stupid, and yeah, like screwing up Parapot that much also kind of felt weird, but. Yeah, what are you gonna do? Like, I'm happy to get the win at least, but yeah, I would like to echo emo sentiments and say that I'm happy Mystery Week's over because this is I hate this.
I mean, we also have to talk a little bit about the enemizing in that switch room in Thieves Town. It got both of you at least once.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, you could not get into that room without getting hit. The crystal roller started on top of you. There was no getting out from under it.
Yeah, it's like all...
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say that it's like all of Turtle Rock just converge in that like one room. Like I know there was a chomp in there in like the upper right-hand corner. I don't know if anyone caught the chomp, but yeah, it was a nightmare.
Yeah, I think what we all learned this week is that there are good ways to play the game and dumb ways to play the game. And some people really, really like to play the game in incredibly dumb ways. And this is one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't say Randomizer is my favorite mode either. Like, yeah, like going through Eastern Palace, like getting that big key, and then just like seeing that like nightmare room with all the Hyneks and the Dark World. I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna come back here later, and we're just gonna, yeah, like it's dumb. It's dumb. And add to that, like 4 Crystal GT, 7 Crystal Ganon. At least it wasn't like fast Ganon. We all know how much of a nightmare that is, but yeah, it was, yeah.
It was still fairly close for a long while, though, because at one point we, of course, needed just the Aether Medallion for you, EmoSaru, and just that small key for you, Walsh, and both of you wondering what order are they going to do their checks. We, at that point, already favored Walsh a bit because Spike Cave is an easier check, but still, it didn't really split up until much closer to the end. You were all, despite for having such a long seat, fairly equal for most of it. Did you feel like that, or did either of you feel really behind?
Oh, I felt behind pretty much from the instant I ran out of bombs on Helma Moth. But by the end of it, I was feeling very behind. I was actually like just sort of waiting for the dot done. But yeah, I don't know. It's really hard to feel ahead in any of these types of things. Like, it's like whether you feel behind or not, it's almost impossible to feel ahead or like you're doing particularly well. So.
Yeah, there's just like so many things that could go wrong in a seed like this. Like, you don't really I don't really know what my opponent's really doing, so I try not to worry about that until like I'm like in go mode or I'm in a prolonged hunt for like my last go mode item that's just like taking me forever to get. Like I'm not really thinking about all this necessarily. Yeah, trying to think of like, yeah, like I mean I didn't feel good about the route. Like I felt that like obviously the route could have like used like it just wasn't that great of a route, but yeah, like it's hard to feel good about the seed like this. Like there's just so much that can go wrong and like so much that your opponent can do right that it's not really worth worrying about that much.
So you're saying the seed is designed to make you feel bad?
Yeah, that sounds like mystery. Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I think I can guess already how the two of you are going to feel about week 7 with the co-op Enemizer, but are you looking forward to anything left in the league this year?
So I will say this. I don't actually mind Inemizer that much. Like, honestly, the thing that I hate is, one, I don't like mystery in general, because it's really, like, there's a lot of weird checks that you have to figure out a way to route in that it's hard to prioritize. But I actually don't mind Inemizer. So I'm fine with that. I hate Key Sanity far more than I hate Inemizer, to be completely honest.
So will you be skipping next week and leaving it over to your teammates, or are you still playing one of the matches next week?
I don't know. They're idiots. So whatever they tell me to do to make them comfortable, I'll do that. Like, it's fine.
You heard it here first, folks.
Oh, I don't think that's the first time I've said that on here. Like, that's been known for a while.
I believe last season of the league, you said it while commentating one of their matches. So
yeah, it sounds about right.
And Walsh, with this win putting you at 18, going into this match, you were 3rd in your division. Of course, needing to at least keep that 3rd place to be able to go into the playoffs after week 7. How do you feel your chances with the teams that you'll be facing in the next 2 weeks?
I feel good to be in this position this late in the season. Like, our team's been working hard, and I'm going to be rooting for Hazakitty to pull it off against Solski later this week. But yeah, no disrespect meant to the other teams in our division, but like the next 2 weeks, I think are going to be really tough for us. Like, we get Team Kappa next week, and Gamachu is like, outside of maybe Goomba, like the runner I'd be most terrified of racing in AD keys, and Fury and 1UP are both really solid runners too. So that's going to be a really challenging week. But Misha and I are up for it, and hopefully we can stay in 3rd place. But yeah, and then it's co-op Enemizer against Fendrana Drifters, and yeah, it's going to be hard, but we're in a good position. I'm happy with how we performed so far. Like, it's hard to be unhappy with like a 3rd place position this deep in the season. Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah, you guys are doing really well. I mean, I think you had kind of like the inverted schedule from our team. So you've kind of got a backloaded schedule where we had a little bit more of a front-loaded schedule. But the good thing for us is that there was a week where both of my teammates just like threw games in the dumpster, like one after another, like literally one after another. It was a double header, and they both just threw them in the dumpster entirely. So that's actually been really, really nice, because we don't really have to care very much, because we're like, mathematically it sort of doesn't matter. So I don't know. I wish this had been a more fun seed, because I'm just like having fun right now. So
yeah.
There were a number of blame Solskis in the chat while you were running, so I think that's a good life philosophy.
Yeah, I mean, I try to stick to it as much as possible. So.
So I think that will just about wrap us up here. Any final thoughts from you two about this garbage seed?
GG Walsh again. Like, seriously, that was an obnoxious seed, and so yeah, GG. It's a good job.
Yeah, same to you, GG. Yeah, better luck in your next one, and thank you guys for the commentary and the tracking. Yeah, thanks for the stepping up to volunteer. Yeah, it's fun. I'm excited to watch this back.
So yeah, thank you again to our tracker for this evening, Kono Tyran. And also be sure you head over to both of these runners' channels and give them a follow. I'm sure they would appreciate it, as they are putting out some great rando and other content as well. So definitely worth a follow on both of their parts.
As for more content today, there's still one more race going on SpeedGaming 3. But that is the last match for Linked Pass Randomizer for the day. But we have plenty, and I mean plenty of matches lined up for tomorrow, both for the Invitational and the Open League. So don't you worry, there's going to be plenty of more craziness like this all through the week.
Absolutely. So keep your eyes on the SpeedGaming channels and over on the ALTTPR League and their various assorted channels for more league action and, of course, great speedrunning content of all sorts in general on SpeedGaming. But I think that will just about wrap us up here. I have been Cool Papa Bell 2282, And alongside me, of course, is Rive, and I think that will wrap us up for tonight. See you all next time.